Oh, good. Okay, so when you look at this next one, I don't want to go through all that proof stuff. We don't need to really use the squeeze theorem from this. What we know is that the limit as x goes to 0 of sine x over x equals 1. We know that. So when you look at this, you see how you got that 4? What's the 4 going to do? It's got to do this type of stuff. But the catch is these two things got to be the same. So we're going to multiply by 4 over 4. So we're going to do the limit as x goes to 0 of 4 sine 4x over 4x. Now, what's the limit as x goes to 0 of that? 1. So now we have 4 times 1, because this is like having a scalar. I could pull it out in front. And so our limit is actually 4. Basically, these two got to be the same, and if there's a coefficient in front of them that's different than 1, that's what it's going to be. Ready to try another? I think we have another. Okay. So let's take a look at this one. Tan over x equals x. If I were to write this out, do you agree this is the limit as x goes to 0 of sine x over cosine x all over x? Could I then take this and say the limit as x goes to 0 of sine x over x times the limit as x goes to 0 of 1 over cosine x? All I did was separate them out into two separate ones, right? Some of our properties we learned. So we know this one right here equals 1, correct? So if I plug in 0 to cosine x, I get 1 over 1. So therefore I get an answer of 1. We okay with that? So this is another one to memorize. Tan x over x is going to be 1. Huh? Which one? The last one? We're getting ready to do it. So this one, if I do it, could we go the limit as x goes to 0 of sine squared over x? Because 1 minus cosine squared equals sine squared, right? I can break this into two limits. So we can say we need, as it goes to 0 of sine x over x, times the limit as x goes to 0 of just sine x. So all I did was separate out those squareds into two separate ones. Now when I do this first one, we know this one equals 1 just because of the squeeze theorem. But then when I plug this second one in, notice when I plug it into here, I don't have anything that's making it undefined, right? So I'm just getting an answer. So if I plug in 0 to sine x, what do I get? 1 times 0 is 0. So if you're looking at your 1 minus cosine squared over x, you're talking about it being 0. Are you okay with that? Kind of, sort of. We're absorbing. So when you look at this, what can you tell me about this inside piece? Does that have anything to do with the range? So no matter what, we know that cosine is going to squeeze between -1 and 1. Do you agree? So this is me I pulled out what I knew from that equation they gave me. And they're squeezing it between h, which is negative, and g, which is positive. So now I need to get my x squareds, right? So I'm going to just go across and I'm going to multiply by that x squared. So here's my lower bound and here's my upper bound that I'm adding to it. So I'm going to get negative x squared Then I'm going to multiply it here, which gets me my x squared cosine 10 pi x. And then I get x squared. So do you see now how this middle piece looks just like where we started? So then I want to do the limit as x goes to 0 of negative x squared, which is less than or equal the limit as x goes to 0 of x squared cosine 10 pi x. So all I'm doing is taking the limit of each one. Can I take the limit of the middle piece? We were having a problem with that, weren't we? Or we're just going to prove it by the squeeze theorem? Because actually, if I put a 0 in there, do I get an answer? 0 times cosine 10 pi x. Okay, so it wasn't necessarily undefined, but we're just kind of proving it by squeeze theorem. So as I continue, what's the left going to be? What's the limit of negative x? Thank you. Then I got all that stuff in the middle. I'm doing the limit. This is what I'm squeezing. Of x squared cosine 10 pi x. And then what's the limit of the right bound or the upper bound? So therefore, this one has to be my 10, but yet you did. Are we okay with that? Here's an example of you being able to do a drawing. I'm going to leave that for you because I actually found some problems that I wanted to do. Did I get them in here? Oops. That you may see on an AP exam. So they gave you G, they gave you H, and then they said some function F. They didn't even tell you what the function was. Some function F falls between. So G is my lower bound, and F is my higher bound. So let's see, if I wrote that out, I got negative x squared plus 2x minus 3 is going to be less than or equal than some function F, which is less than or equal to 2x plus 1. So this is my lower bound, and this is my upper bound. And we're going to see if we can squeeze in between to get an answer. So it says take the limit of f of x at 2. Well, I don't even know what f of x is. But I can take the limit as x goes to 2 of g. And then the limit as x goes to 2 of f of x, got no clue. And then I can take the limit as x goes to 2 of h. So since they told us f of x is sandwiched in between, well, what is it sandwiched in between? If I plug 2 into the lower bound, what do I get? Okay, what do I get if I plug it into the upper bound? So can I tell you what the limit is of f of x? Cannot determine. I cannot determine it with the sandwich theorem. Why? They're not the same. There's too much space. What do we know about the limit, though? It is in between negative 3 and 5. Okay? So then if I go over to this one, now we have, they gave us an interval that we could do this on. Okay? So all they're saying is we're restricting it. For example, if you look at this one, they could have said the interval from right here to right here. I want you to find the limit there. Because one of the conditions is it has to be continuous. And so if one of these has some type of break in it, we don't want that to be part of it. Okay? So when we look at this, we're going from negative 1 to 5. And they're saying that g of x is my lower bound. So I got cosine of pi over 2 x, which is less than or equal to f of x, don't know what it is, which is less than or equal to h of x, which is the upper bound. They're saying that we're going to do it over this interval, which works out good because our value is 0, correct? So we're going to take the limit as x goes to 0 of cosine pi over 2x, which is less than the limit as x goes to 0 of f of x, less than or equal to. And then for our upper bound as x goes to 0. Why did I put the last one in parentheses and I didn't put the first one in parentheses? This is terms. If I don't put it in parentheses, the plus 3 is away from it. It's not part of the limit. Okay? So if you got plus and minus signs, make sure you include parentheses. If I plug 0 into my lower bound, what do I get? Okay, so 1 is less than or equal to the limit as x goes to 0 of f of x. If I plug 0 into my upper bound, what do I get? 3. So what do we know? The limit is between 1 and 3. But cannot be determined. Yes. Anytime that it's going to be in a free response type form, you explain it in a sentence.
So how come we know that's between 1 and 3 with the other one?
We did. We said it was between -3. I didn't write it down. I'm sorry.
So you would have been docked points.
Could have been docked points. I said it. My bad. I'm so sorry. Okay, so do you see how they can present it? Because this is them testing your knowledge about just the squeeze theorem. So they're not going to ask you to do that proof first. I got the limit as x goes to 0 of sine 3x over 4x. Sine 4x. This is going to be 0 over 0, correct? Do you agree? Okay, so if I break these apart, I would have the limit as x goes to 0 of sine 3x times the limit as x goes to 0 of 1 over sine 4x. Do you agree? Okay, remember, I got to have it to be the same on the top and bottom. So I need to multiply this by 3x over 3x. I need to multiply this by 4x over 4x. So then I have the limit as x goes to 0 of 3x sine 3x over 3x times the limit as x goes to 0 of 4x over 4x sine 4x equals, what does this equal? So that's 1 times 3x times, what does this equal? 1 over 4x. So then I get 3/4. Yeah, the x, they cancel, right?